Gold is stuck in your butt. Bitcoin is safe in your brain. Right? How would I get gold through the airport? I can't put it in my brain, right? My ear hole isn't wide enough, right? It's got to go up my butt, I guess.
Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, March 4th, 2024. My name is Matt. It's your daily crypto news. I don't know if you noticed, but Bitcoin number go up. And the market just opened about 4 minutes ago, so let's see what's going on. Let me just do a quick refresh. Looks like we're going even in the past hour for Bitcoin, but it looks as though we're up about 5.2% in 24. We'll get into those crypto prices for exact prices in a minute, but let's get into some daily crypto news. As you know, Bitcoin reached $65,000, which moves it to around 6% from its all-time high. That all-time high was set on November 10th, 2021 at $69,044. Well, that's kind of in debate. We'll get into that in a little bit. The world's oldest and largest cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, has seen around $44 billion worth of trading volume today. And like I said, that price is relative. The all-time high price is relative because Bitcoin is trading for around, 59,900 euro right now, which is a new all-time high in the EU. But that's not it. There's also been new all-time highs in Chinese renminbi, the Japanese yen, the British pound, and India's rupee. And so, again, like I said, there's a question. What is a Bitcoin all-time high? What is it? Is it $69,044? Well, it depends on where you look. If you're looking on OKCoin, it's $69,076. If you're looking on Coinbase, it's $69 even. If you're looking on Kraken, it's $68,991. Bitflyer, it is $68,966. Long story short is you can find many different prices for the all-time high. And this is why we were talking about last week about arbitrage. So if you have different accounts on different places, especially if you live in different countries or have passports for different countries, you can open up different accounts in different places and sometimes get some pretty damn good returns just by buying Bitcoin in one place and selling it in another, moving that money back to the new place and then buying Bitcoin and selling it in another. I mean, you're not going to totally kill it. You're going to make, 1 to 2% every time, but you really could do pretty well with that, and people do. So now you're probably asking, why is there a new all-time high price in the EU and in the UK and not here in the United States? Well, €1, for example, was worth around $1.16 back in the day, but now the euro's exchange rate has slipped and it's around $1.08. That's basically saying that the United States dollar has gained buying power relative to the other currencies since 2021. Like we were talking about a couple weeks ago, was it 2 weeks ago or so? We were talking about the Japanese yen and the exchange rate for the yen to the dollar, and the dollar is very strong against the yen. Great time to go to Japan if you wanted to. Well, another reason why we have all-time highs all across the board was Bitcoin's ETF trading values hit new levels last week, and so did Inflows. BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin ETF tallied inflows at around $203 million on Friday. That means $203 million of Bitcoin went into the kitty. Even though there's trading volumes of way higher than that, there was also outflows, or people are taking profits, or people are just swing trading. There are $203 million worth of sats stacked just by BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin ETF. Fidelity, Wise Origin, Bitwise, ARK21, they had a combined net inflows of around $150 million. But our homeboys over at Grayscale, they're getting quite a bit of outflows. Why? Because one, they're priced significantly higher than everybody else, and two, there's a lot of things happening right now when it comes to settlements. And remember, they were the first ones in town, and a lot of people were holding Grayscale's trust, Bitcoin Trust, as a way to get exposure to Bitcoin before we had this ETF. And they're kind of moving over too. So Grayscale's trust outflows amounted to around $492 million on Friday. But still, even though Grayscale had a lot of outflows, they still had a lot of inflows. They had about $673 million worth of inflows on February 28th. Bitcoin's ETF had around $1.7 billion of inflows last week, which is the second highest. And by the way, that's $1.7 billion worth of people stacking sats That's second only to the week spanning from February 12th to February 16th, where people stacked around $2.2 billion of sats. And I'm going to keep giving you my not financial advice. And my not financial advice is to don't short in a bull market. Crypto short sellers are losing $110,000 a minute. And I have this little graph here. If you're on YouTube, you can take a look at this. But link is also in the show notes of Bitcoin and Ethereum's performance in relation to the S&P 500 and NVIDIA. And Ethereum is outperforming NVIDIA. NVIDIA is outperforming Bitcoin in the past 5 years, which is quite interesting, which makes me start to think that we are in a very overheated market right now for some of these assets, and we're going to see a pullback. Bitcoin, it's so different because it is, we all know what happened when it came to the gold ETF and how much inflows were into the gold ETF and how gold went from, a couple $100 into the $1,000 range just because of the ETF. And so what are we going to see with Bitcoin? I just don't know. In some alternative Bitcoin news, not just talking about price and inflows and outflows and people aping into Bitcoin ETFs, Marathon's Slipstream mines the largest Bitcoin block on record. At Moonnaut, he tweeted, Marathon's new Slipstream service just broke the record for the largest ever Bitcoin block measured in raw bytes, clocking in at 3,990.36 kilobytes. It contains the largest ever single transaction at 3,988.96 kilobytes, a large image inscription related to the Runestone airdrop. Runestones, by the way, is a Bitcoin ordinals project led by synonymous ordinals collector Leonidas NFT. Moonnaut continued to say in another tweet, note that these aren't the largest ever block and transaction by weight, but these are by size. The ones by weight are held by F2 Pool. So now you're asking, what the hell does weight and size mean? Well, let me clear my throat. Here's going to be a little bit of a long one. When we say that you can have the largest Bitcoin block, but not by weight, it means that a block can be large in terms of its actual byte size, but not necessarily be heavy in terms of its weight. Still no clue what that means. This situation could occur if a block contains a large number of transactions that do not make extensive use of the SegWit features, such as the block might be close to 1 megabyte in terms of actual size, but it's not utilizing its full potential in weight. So weight was a concept that was introduced by SegWit, or Segregated Witness updates on Bitcoin, and a maximum block weight is 4 million weight units, or WUs. And so this one big inscription of this ordinal, this Bitcoin NFT, if you will, did not take a lot of use of SegWit. So SegWit would be used obviously in multiple transactions. This was just basically, I don't know how it was calculated, but it didn't take a lot of use of that. So therefore, it's lightweight, big block. I don't know if you care. There you go. Moving outside of Bitcoin, look, everything's ripping. Everything is ripping, and meme coins are ripping. If you're Pepe, you're up around 36% over the past 24 hours and maybe around 430% over the past 7. Yeah. If you had $100,000 in Pepe last week, you now have around $430,000 in Pepe. Why? Reasons. This is the crypto space. You don't have to have a reason for a number to go up. This is closely followed by dog-themed coins like Boink, up 30%, SHIB, up around 17%, and Doge, up around 19%. Floki's in there as well, with around 11% gains. And if you're a dog with hat kind of person, you're only up around, 3% on the day. However, you're up almost 400% in the past week. Dog with hat. Why are you buying and aping into dog with hat? Because you're a total degen. Number went up. Good for you. There's no other point to that. While everybody's talking about meme coins, I want to talk about XYO. They saw around 40 to 50 to 60% up on this week. They went up from like 0.7 cents to 1.2 cents. So that's a big up. They're up roughly around 40% this week after they closed down after yesterday. Remember when I told you about this Hong Kong exchange? It was called Bitforex. Remember that the CEO left and then all of a sudden $54 million went missing? Remember when I called it a rug? That somebody is playing games? They're like, oh, what happened? There must be, the exchange is down. What happened? We must have a bug. Well, it looks like Hong Kong's regulator for securities and futures markets has warned the public about this cryptocurrency exchange and suspected it for fraud. Why? Because $54 million went missing. So who is it? the CEO that left and was controlling the private keys and rugged the exchange after he left, maybe probably not in good terms? Or was it the new team that looked at the private keys and looked at the cold storage and said, why don't we just take this and go? Why run this business? We have $54 million just sitting here. Let's bounce. I hope we find this out because I'm very curious. I'm betting on the CEO, by the way. What do you think? Email me, matt@dailycryptonews.net. Who rugged Bitforex? And finally, there's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of new economic developments in the altcoin world, but there's too many to list. And so there is a link in the show notes if you want a day-by-day happening of what's happening with altcoins for the next week or so. Now, let's get into those crypto prices.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
And the time is 9:52 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Fear Greed is at 86. Surprisingly, it's only at 86 because Bitcoin just popped up from the start of the show when I just told you it was $65,000. It went up almost 2%. It's at $66,227. What? Ethereum is at $3,533, up 3.1% in 24 or 13.9 in 7. Oh, by the way, Bitcoin's up around 28.2% in 7. Tether's number 3, Binance is at 417, up around 1% in 24. And Solana is at 332, up around 2.2% in 24 or 28% in 7. Running off the top 10, we have XRP, USDC, Cardano, Doge is, oh wow, Doge is at 16.8 cents. I didn't even see that coming. When did that happen? It's up 21% in 24 or 100% in 7. And Avalanche is up 2% in 24 or 16% in 7 at 43.69. I kind of feel that Avalanche is going to pop here in a second. I don't know why, but I feel like it's going to pop. The total market cap is sitting at 2.46 trillion, up 5% in 24. Wow. Its volume is up around 36% in 24. Bitcoin dominance is sitting at 53%, and ETH is at 17.3. And that was our show today. My name is Matt, and if you want to reach out to me, it's matt@dailycryptonews.net. Please do me a favor, go to Apple Podcasts, like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment, and I will see you tomorrow. Until then, happy hodling, everyone.